Hello and welcome to episode 39 of the Long Shot Podcast. I'm your host, Duncan Robinson, here with my good friend, Davis Patrick Reid. We're back in person. Davis, how are we feeling?
We are back in person, so I'm great. I'm feeling good. It's good to see you. We're here in Brooklyn, New York, home of the Nets, who you guys face tomorrow. I'm excited to be here.
We're actually not in Brooklyn. Davis is somewhat locationally challenged. Just because we're playing Brooklyn tomorrow does not mean that we are right now in Brooklyn. I'm not going to disclose the information as to where we are exactly. I feel like that's maybe a safety issue of some sorts. Anyways, it's great to have you here. I appreciate you making the effort to join myself and make the effort to fly out here.
It's probably good that you keep our location discreet. I remember this past summer, we were in Los Angeles and you said, we're somewhere in California. I'll keep it discreet. And then I followed immediately up with, yeah, it's great to be here in Los Angeles, which is still a broad area. But yeah, we'll just say we're in the vicinity of Brooklyn.
The tri-state area. How about that?
Sure. Yeah, that works. That's fair.
Anyways, we got a great show for you. Zach Lowe is fantastic. Very, very current, up to date with his basketball takes and knowledge. I've been a fan of his for a while, so it was nice to get him on the pod finally. So we're not going to, just kind of banter here for too long.
Yeah,
but we do have some things we want to talk about.
Yeah, we have some weekly takeaways, I think is how we're going to frame this. We'll think of a name.
I feel like we could do better than that, to be honest.
I've been toying with 5 and 5, like 5 takeaways in 5 minutes. 55. You see what I'm doing there? There's like a little.
I know, but why would you put the ceiling of keeping it within 5 minutes? It's like, you're just really limiting our potential by doing so.
You're right. And 5 minutes is pretty short. Whatever. I got some weekly takeaways. So here, I'm going to lead.
Okay.
With my first takeaway of the week.
All right.
And that is that I've already decided I want a Knicks and Heat first round matchup in the playoffs. I watched one game in Madison Square Garden, and it immediately became apparent to me that that environment is just too electric for us to not have a Heat matchup. It takes me, last year we had Trey getting heckled by the fans. I think maybe you can step into that role this year. We've got I don't know if you saw the Knicks fans on the sidewalk video that was going around post game. There's so much energy, and I would love, no disrespect to Knicks fans, but I would love for you guys to just squash it, just crush them.
I'm comfortable playing the villain in some
I think it'd be good for you.
I don't know. I think it's more likely that like a guy like Jimmy would be coined the villain, even
that's
though
almost too obvious.
I've been heard I have a very punchable face. That's something that's been told to me often.
Do you think that's true?
I don't know. I feel like we've actually talked about this before, but I think the fact I don't know what makes a face punchable. Is it just based off of the fact that it's big? Because I do have a big head. That's something I've admitted to publicly.
I'd say big head, so it's hard to miss.
Took some vulnerability to do so, but I have publicly admitted that I have a bigger head. It's actually that I have a longer head. Yeah, not that we need to get into the details of it, but so it's like visually and optically, it just looks bigger than it actually is. But I do. So maybe that's what makes it punchable, actually, because there's more surface area.
Yeah, now that you say this, I'm looking at you. You kind of, those arcade games that come down and you punch it and you get a high score? Your head kind of looks like that. It kind of makes sense.
I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do with that. But anyways, I would love to play a first round, second round conference finals, whatever it is, in Madison Square Garden. Watching the opening night game, Knicks Celtics, that place was electric.
Yeah, it's just Obi Toppin caught an alley-oop the other night. This was like a Sunday night against the Magic. And the place,
tuned in to
dialed.
Yeah.
League Pass, baby. Dialed. I bought League Pass this year. I stepped up and made the adult decision.
Good for you.
I know.
Good for you.
It was time.
That's an investment.
Yeah. I don't know.
Proud of you.
It's time for me to stop bootlegging games. Just kidding. I don't do that. Anyway, Obi Toppin catches a one-hand alley-oop on a Sunday night. It sounds like it's Game 7 of the NBA Finals in there. There's just so much energy. I need you in that environment.
Yeah, the Knicks are obviously trending. They're a team everyone likes talking about. So is that your one takeaway? By the way, this is an example of, we talked about that for probably 3 minutes. There's no way that we could get all 5 things into the 5 minutes.
Maybe that's part of the running joke, is that it's never actually 5 minutes.
Got it. All right, I'm actually going to go number 2.
Fine, take it.
Michigan football is legit. And I was on the bandwagon early. I said after week 1, my classic overreaction. This is our year. I've said it every single year since I've been a Michigan fan. And now here we are, 7-0. Got a chance to go to East Lansing, make it 8-0 against our bitter crosstown rival, and really do something special in the college football world.
I'm ready to admit that you guys are legit.
I don't know why you're saying you guys. You now live in Ann Arbor.
That's true.
You're very much, you're a
right.
part of this special thing that we have brewing.
You're right. I've been to 2 games this year. I participated in some tailgates.
Wow. What does a Davis Reid tailgate look like?
Let me tell you, it is eggs, toast, and a coffee, and it's a light socializing, very light socializing. Not a lot of alcohol being consumed, if I'm just being completely honest. I'm kind of past that point. But let me say this.
You're above consuming alcohol.
No. I'm not saying that. It's just on a Saturday morning, games kick off at noon.
Yeah,
so it's asking a lot of me to kick
early.
Off at 9 a.m. with a White Claw. I'm just, I got to be in the right frame of mind. But that leads me to this weekend, Michigan State, Michigan. I think 6-8 in the country, both undefeated. I know that Michigan, Ohio State is like the rivalry, right? But if Michigan State isn't right behind, then, call me crazy. My point is, I've been invited to an East Lansing tailgate.
That's how you know you are true maize and blue to the core.
So that one might call for a little bit more of a raucous tailgate.
I love that.
That's a big game.
You're in enemy territory as well. So I had the second takeaway. I'm actually going to steal the third as well.
It's kind of
so
selfish.
my football team's really good, Michigan. Your football team, the Kansas City Chiefs, sucks. They're bad.
Yeah,
which honestly caught me by surprise. Down 27-0 at halftime.
Yeah. No, we're bad. You're right. We're bad. I don't know if it's a back-to-back Super Bowl hangover. I don't know what's going on, but something's not right. 3-4. Defense is really bad. Patrick Mahomes is making some bad mistakes. We'll be okay, though. It's still early enough that we can right the ship, I
like the optimism.
I don't feel that optimistic, to be honest. This is maybe a facade. But I think 10-7, 9-8.
Yeah, you just got to get a chance.
Just get us into the playoffs and we can beat anybody.
All right, let's get to basketball. What else we got?
Yeah, I'll take the 4th takeaway. I'm going to go NBA 75 list.
That was a trending topic of the week. It really was.
I know we're a little late, but I still want to talk. We haven't talked about it at all. People are fascinated with lists, right? And comparing between eras is so hard and complicated.
Yeah.
You've obviously got the classic, like who's the GOAT, MJ or LeBron. It's just hard to compare between eras. And I think that's why this 75 list is so difficult to do, because obviously you have to show respect to the pioneers who made jumps in their respective era. But if you're just doing the best 75 players ever, it would all be in the last 30 years. So it just gets hard to do for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was a cool idea by the league, first and foremost, to do a 75th anniversary kind of homage to the 75 best players. I also thought it was, that's almost a bold thing to stand on for some of those takes. And one thing that I was kind of fascinated by is that they chose to do current players, which I actually respect, because I think it would have been a cop-out if they had just said, we're not going to do any current players. But with that being said, it's really tricky to evaluate guys that are currently playing.
Yeah, with the exclusion of LeBron, KD, Steph. There are a couple who are obviously in that list.
Yeah, but it is hard to really differentiate, especially if the guy's still in the midst of his career. Kyrie Irving is under 30 years old, and then on top of that, I guess there was some controversy around he was included. Maybe I'm not even really going to comment on that. But anyways, my point being, there were some guys that very well. Dwight Howard was the best player in the NBA. For a stretch. Certainly defensively, but maybe even just all around impact. So that was one that I think surprised a lot of people. Clay, obviously, him voicing his displeasure, which I actually appreciate. And then also the Warriors, of course. Andre, I imagine, was behind that in some capacity, dropping the 77 on as a jersey in his locker, which was great.
I know that you won't do this, so I'm going to do it instead. I have 3 snubs. And I'll even go as far as to name who I think they should have replaced on the list.
Wow, that's a bold take.
And this is with all due respect, I've got Clay over Reggie. I've got Dwight over AD, which you can't tell me that that's not what the bench scuffle was about. And I've got Kyrie over Dame Lillard. Those are my 3 replacements.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at wow. I appreciate you taking the stance that you are.
Yep.
Whether I agree on it or with it is something I'm not really willing to voice just yet. But I do appreciate you taking the stance.
I mean, look, like you said, Dwight Howard was the most dominant player in the NBA for a stretch. 8-time All-NBA. Maybe something like that. 8-time
All-Star. Pulling this out of thin air.
I did some research, but it's just off the top of my head now.
You're truly a basketball historian.
I think you have to value championships with Klay Thompson. He's also undoubtedly one of the best shooters of all time.
Sure.
And then Kyrie, again, got to value a championship, and he's got accolades that stack right up with Damian Lillard plus a championship. I think that boosts him over the top.
I mean, like I said, I'm Switzerland on this one.
All right, you took back-to-back takeaways, so I'm going to take back-to-back takeaways. The 5th and final weekly takeaway of the 5 and 5 that I think we've done in closer to 10 is you are pretty bouncy.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky.
You had a fast break, one-hand throw down, nobody around. But still, we're fully aware that you can dunk. Last year, you had the backdoor kind of reverse.
Yeah, that was a reverse dunk.
It looked incredibly easy. I wish you would have put a little bit more sauce on this one against the Magic. Nobody around you. You were up high enough to do something. I thought maybe a reverse,
that's asking a lot.
Maybe like a 360, maybe like an East Bay. I don't know. I just wish you would have brought something.
I think the most you're going to get is maybe just a little extra something on the slingshot.
Is this just early season legs? What's going on? Because you got up there.
No, I don't think it's that. I mean, I think it is partially that. I mean, people were legitimately like very surprised. A couple guys on my team were like, I actually didn't know you could dunk.
Which is a little disrespectful, but I think it comes from a good place.
Yeah, it does. It does. I actually surprised myself with that one a little bit. I actually had a little more room to work with. For those of you who can dunk at basketball, not trying to belittle anybody who cannot.
Yeah, direct this at me because
you cannot. But you get like little marks on your wrists, right, when you're dunking a lot. And that one I was up a little bit higher than I thought. So I had a mark like pretty far down my wrist. So it showed I had some room to work with. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was a breakaway. So let's pump our tires here.
That was one of those
brakes here.
No. That was one of those where had there been someone in the area, I think you were up high enough to at least have a good attempt.
I'll take that. I'll allow that.
I'm still waiting for that. You just get so much respect on closeouts. I'm still waiting for the pump 2-dribble baseline rise up on somebody. I'm not ruling it out.
We'll see. Only time will tell.
I'm just saying, long shots. That's the name, by the way, I've officially decided.
The long shots?
The long shots. Long shots. Just mark this, timestamp this. At some point this year, we're getting a baseline Duncan Robinson throwdown with someone in the vicinity.
Baseline?
Yeah. You're in the corner, pump fake, 2-dribble.
I like it.
Wha-pow.
I'll see if I can make that. I like the sound effects as well. All right, I think we have a new segment. Is that right?
We do. Well, I mean, I think people are aware of the segment.
We've teased the segment, but we're officially now doing it.
We have teased the idea of giving advice, and I say advice with a massive asterisk because we're not liable.
Yeah. Take everything with a grain of salt.
We are not therapists. We are not experts on really anything.
Yeah, anything at all.
So it's really just our thoughts. And that takes me to the name of this segment, The Long Thoughts.
Love that.
So we had some amazing questions.
That was gifted to us, right? The Long
Thoughts. Yeah. That was gifted to us. I'm going to find out who gifted that to us, and I'm going to shout you out. I don't know your name.
It's pretty disappointing that you wouldn't have done your research prior, but Long Thoughts.
The Long Thoughts. We had some amazing questions submitted. We plan to continue doing this, so we will try to get to as many as we can. But this first question comes from Alan. And Alan writes, Duncan and Davis, honestly, I'm going through a breakup right now, and it's pretty tough. Wanted to hear what kind of advice you might have on getting over someone, things that helped for you coming from stand-up guys like yourself. So Alan, thank you for calling us stand-up, first of all. It's
Yeah,
very
that's
kind.
very kind of you. I really like this question to start it off. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a fastball down the middle.
Yeah.
Just a great foundation of what the long thought segment
Couldn't
could
agree
really
more.
become. So thank you, Alan, for being vulnerable.
Sure.
First off, in this moment, and also sharing with this community.
We celebrate vulnerability.
True.
With that being said, Alan, I don't have a ton of experience getting over breakups. I think we've talked about enough on this podcast. I am married to the woman that I've been dating since I was 13 years old. So I'm going to pass this one to Duncan, but I'm sending my love your way, and I know that you're going to get through this.
Well, actually, I don't know if you should completely opt out of this, because in our friend group, Davis has always been the person that we all turn to for love advice. And actually, it makes zero sense, because he has been with the same woman basically his entire life. So he's never been through a breakup. He's never known what it's like to go through that sort of struggle.
Right.
But for whatever reason, and honestly, I think a lot of it is because he is known for giving really good advice. So I think it's actually pretty selfish of you to opt out in this instance, because the same way Alan's now turning to us, so many times before I've turned to you. So I'll lead it off, and then I'd like you to kind of put a bow on it.
That's fair.
Alan, my initial reaction is, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Look, this stuff is never easy. I've been through my fair share of breakups. Never easy, ever. I'll start by saying so many of the cliches that people like to use exist because there is truth within them. So I will say it's unrealistic to just forget about a person, right? Or at least for me, I like to consider myself a thoughtful being, so that as a result, I tend to overthink in many cases as well. And that's, sports, life, love life, all things. For me, what has helped me in the past is really zeroing in on kind of what's next for me personally. Now, I'm not naive to the fact that I've been lucky to have something in my life in basketball where I'm able to channel all my energy towards that. So what I would say is it's the classic, focus on working on yourself, but I'm kind of saying it in a little bit of a different way, in terms of, look, you've probably dedicated a lot of energy, time, resources towards this relationship. Now, this is an incredible opportunity to reposition that time, resources, all those things towards bettering yourself and your own self-improvement.
Alan, forget about this person, man. Forget about him. Okay? They don't deserve you. You're a king, Alan. You're a king. You hear me? That's what I got for you.
That was good. That was motivational.
Yeah.
That was a nice ethos and pathos kind of combination. I really kind of had the pathos of it, which is, based in logic. For you Greek historians out there, I think it's Greek. And you really captured the ethos, the compassion of you just got to move on. So that was a nice little yin and yang. I actually thought that was great.
Yeah. No, Alan, you're a king. Okay. You hear me? Keep pushing. Keep pushing.
Are you getting emotional?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I love love, man.
This took quite the turn. All right, that's the long thought segment. I don't know how that went. I mean, I think it. I don't think we kind of enjoyed it. I think it ignited a different part of my brain, which I actually appreciated.
Yeah.
So often when we do this stuff, it's as much as I love talking about basketball, as I really do, but but it's so many times it's the random stuff. And this kind of just forces a random incident.
Here, let me actually, Alan, here's what I'll add to Duncan on a serious note. I mean, you are a king. That was serious. But I actually have gone through a breakup with my current wife. We broke up and we got back together. So it is possible, right? If this person is the person for you, it's possible that it still works out. But with that being said, I think all of Duncan's advice still holds true. It's an opportunity for you to focus on yourself, to get your priorities in line. And then when you figure out what that is, if that person comes back in the picture and it makes sense for her to be or him to be there, then great. If not, then you've got yourself to focus on, which I think is equally as healthy and important.
Yeah, and I'll say one more thing.
Yeah, let's keep it rolling.
Perspective is like so important. I realize that in so many things, and like gaining a new perspective can be such a unique advantage and kind of opportunity. And obviously you've had this perspective of being with this person. You now have an opportunity to gain perspective from being single, and that will very likely be difficult early on. But in time, you will learn to appreciate that perspective, because I think it'll tell you more about that person than in many cases actually being with them. For example, in Davis's case, like he quickly realized that not being with this person was something that he did not want to go through. So perspective is key. Anyways,
you're king, Alan.
This is a weird transition to a Zach Lowe interview, which is entirely about basketball. But that's kind of also your yin and yang. You know, yes. you got some miscellaneous info and random banter mixed in with a Zach Lowe interview, which obviously hovers mainly around basketball.
Yeah, if you don't think you're getting a 360 view of life on this podcast, you got another thing coming, pal.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Jimmy V's. If you can laugh, cry, and think in every day, then that's a whale of a day.
I think I've done all three in the last 20 minutes.
and you know what? You can guarantee when you tune into this podcast, we're going to do our best to make you laugh, cry, and think every episode.
Yeah.
That's a full day, Dave.
I mean, I'm emotionally drained. I don't know about you. We have a long shot feature.
When it comes to athletes, we tend to focus on physical fitness, but there's another side to the game that's just as important: mental fitness. Calm, the #1 app for sleep and meditation, has teamed up with LeBron James to help you train your mind and become the champion version of yourself. LeBron and Calm know that your mind is like any other muscle in your body, but you don't have to be a world champion to learn how to train it. Calm can help you train your brain so you sleep better, reduce your stress, and perform at your best, just like King James. For LeBron, sleep is a critical part of his mental fitness routine. As he says, quote, "Getting good sleep and finding time to rest is one of the most valuable things I can do for my body and mind. From the sound of rain falling on leaves to bedtime sleep stories, Calm puts me to sleep within minutes, which means I wake up ready for any challenge," unquote.
If it works for King James, it probably will work for you as well. So if you head to calm.com/longshot, for a limited time, you'll get 40% off a Calm premium subscription. With Calm, you have access to the nature scenes LeBron loves, like rain on leaves, and so much more, like sleep stories and meditation, so you can be ready for any challenges that life throws your way. Again, for a limited time, our listeners can join LeBron and myself and Duncan in using Calm and get a 40% discount on a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/longshot. Unlock content to help you focus, ease stress, and sleep better. We all want to do that. Get started at calm.com/longshot. That's calm, CALM.com/longshot.
Dave, you know what's incredibly underrated? Cyber safety. I'm telling you, these days, ransomware can come for any company in any industry, but small to mid-sized businesses tend to get hurt the worst. We at the Longshot are a small/mid-sized business. With fewer cyber defenses, ransomware has more ways to sneak through. With smaller teams, these companies are usually slower to recover. And for these companies particularly, the downtime and reputational damage can be devastating.
Dunk, I have been on the bad end of a business cyber attack a few years ago. There is nothing worse. We had to shut down operation for a couple of days. We had to comb through emails. We lost some files. It was a nightmare. We got a software protection service, but it was difficult to use. The user experience just wasn't great. That's not at all the case with Ignite. Ignite is super easy to use. It's a security tool that teams will love using because it keeps you safe and it's easy to understand, easy to comprehend. It doesn't take extra time out of your day. It's one of those things that you don't know you need until you do, but I cannot stress enough that you do. Behind the scenes, Ignite gives companies with limited IT and security staff the power of much larger teams. You get total visibility, Dunk, know exactly where key documents are, who has access, and automatically detect more than 2,000 ransomware variants and flag unusual behaviors.
Dave, sounds like a home run to me. So check this out. Learn more about how Ignite can protect your business from ransomware, or see why Ignite is rated #1. That's #1, Dave, for data security by real customers in the G2 crowd. Start your free trial today at egnyte.com. That's egnyte.com. Oh, we do have
Let's
a
get to
long shot feature. Sorry.
A great long shot feature.
This is great. So Roman Cannon was a Olympic fencer.
Yes.
And French Olympic fencer. He was a reserve. He was not supposed to compete in the Olympics.
He was there for moral support.
Right. Just clapping on the sidelines. Yeah. All of a sudden, was it a week before the event?
A week or two.
Yeah, a couple weeks before the event, the person in front of him, the competitor, the athlete on his team in front of him, tests positive for some form of performance enhancing
Fever
drug.
tranquilizer.
Okay. Some form of performance enhancing drug. And is just DQ'd from competition.
Yeah.
So
Very cleaned.
Out of nowhere, our guy Roman is thrust into competition, and boy, does he shine center stage. Goes on to win gold for his country of France. I believe he defeated the 9th, 7th, 3rd, 2nd, and then 1st ranked fencer in the world. I mean, to capture gold.
That's running through all of them, right? That's like, we don't want the easy path.
No.
We're going to go through 1, 2, 3.
I love it. So shout out to Roman. Incredible stuff. And yeah.
24 years old, first ever Olympics.
Wow.
Not even supposed to be competing.
That's a long shot.
Walks away with a gold medal.
That's a long shot for sure. All right. Well, that's the front of the show. And here's Zach.